Yeah, we're in Baltimore. We're heading down to D.C., the so-called capital, the Satan's seat. This right here, I stop and I notice this from a distance. This is the first Marina Bank, and the very top of it, I'll give you another angle of it, is obelisk, and you can see the star. I guess I don't know what you call it. But it covers the compass. It covers north, south, east, and west. Just some more evidence that this place is the builders of this place, America, Babylon, guided by these demons, these spirits. We're down here in another part. Actually, we're right across the street from the First Marina Bank. This right here, what you're looking at, is Baltimore Harbor, where you had that famous battle. When you read the history on the War of 1812, and that was a very important war, because what they don't teach you in the history books is that that war was actually a banker's war. Because the states didn't want a national bank or a central bank. And what happened was it was the Rothschilds that basically used their agents to, declare war on the states. So, I mean, when you go into the history, then you get the understanding of that. And that's where this epic battle took place in the harbor here.
All right, so whether you believe it or not, America is going to be destroyed. Be a thermonuclear destruction. Somebody get me, I know y'all got presets, but get the whole the day coming that shall burn as another. You look baffled, sir. You got a question? Hey, sir, you got a question? Well, first of all, the Bible says that no man knoweth the hour, but it gave signs and things to look for. Right? And we just got done reading the signs. You're going to see earthquakes, pestilence, famine. All right?
Why should we worry about that if it's going to happen anyway?
You shouldn't worry. If you go back to the man Esau, you don't have nothing to worry about yet. Okay?
That's right.
Because you right now, your people, and by your people I mean the Edomites, they're ruling, okay?
Who's the Edomites?
You're an Edomite. If your father goes back to the man known as Esau in the scriptures, you would be an Edomite. You're not white. You know what white represents? White represents purity.
That's right.
Okay? And even if you go to your complexion, your past are white. You're not white, you're red. Which is pursuant to your biblical name, your nationality. Okay, Edom in the Hebrew is Adawam, which means red. All right? And Edom is synonymous with Esau. They're the same person. And then when you look that word Esau in the Hebrew, it's Ishashua, which means wasted away at sea. All right? You have no melanin in your skin. That's why your blood shows through. All right? Which is a curse. Y'all got leprosy.
Right.
Okay?
That's why you see the black man when he's black.
Now you're clean lepers, right? But you're still the devil. All right? What's that?
I don't get it.
What? There's nothing to not get. All right? And another thing, you're gonna pay for what your foreparents did to my foreparents.
That's right.
You see the tribes here? We're the real people of the Most High.
You know what I am.
Okay? Because I can tell by your spirit, and you're a woman.
Hey, well, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Where do your people go back to?
Many different countries.
Okay, well, let's deal with
Whatever
your...
he's judging
Wait a minute. Let's deal with your father. What is your father?
Are you talking about race?
I'm talking about your father, race-wise, nationality-wise.
Why does it matter? Nationality, I'm Canadian. That's my nation. I'm Canadian.
Well, when you look up the word nation goes back to the word tribe or family.
I have many different tribes from different parts of the
now let's
world.
start with your father. Now, we're not talking about your mother. Let's start with your father.
Why do I have to tell you that?
Oh, you don't have to tell me that.
Yeah.
We're just trying to narrow down who you are. Whether you're on this side right here. Can you identify? Say again? Huh?
I come from many different parts of the world.
Well, okay, well, you're basically a mixed nut, right?
Yeah.
You're basically a mutt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you can still be a mutt, and see your line can still go back to either Israel or Esau or Moab.
And what if it goes back to like 3 of them?
No, it can only go back to 1.
Right.
Because your lineage goes back. Give me Chronicles, man. Give me First Chronicles. You can start from the very beginning. Now she wants to run down the street because she don't want to know nothing about the truth.
Right.
She said, she looking at me like this guy's like set me up. Because that's what we do. We set people up. We ask you certain questions, and you the one that gives us the answers.
Right.
Okay, about what you say. Because there's no way, and that shows you the Most High is not dealing with a woman.
That's right, man.
Because a woman don't know, well, what if my line goes back to 3?
3, yeah. 3.
Everything goes back. Your lineage goes by your father, who your father is. Thank you. You got that, brother?
I got something else. This is Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families.
Explain pedigree.
Right, your pedigree is basically, the line or the family that you come from. You know, like some people have, they have a royal family they come from. Some people come from peasants. You know, some people come from well-to-do families. You know, so whenever Israel would line up, basically what they would do, they would set themselves up according to the house of their fathers where they came from. Right? So it says, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. You know, because your lineage goes back through your father, through the sperm. So it doesn't matter if your grandmother was Irish or your father was black, and then your grandfather was you know, it all depends on that direct line of your father, where that line comes from. Because if you trace that line back, it's gonna go back to one people, one person. Right. You know.
Yeah, give me. I said First Chronicles, the very first chapter and the very first verse. If you go to First Chronicles, the 2nd chapter and the 1st verse on down, if you go to you can go to the 3rd chapter, the 4th chapter, but basically the word Chronicles is a Greek word meaning from the word chronos, which means time. So when it says Chronicles right here, it's talking about your genealogy. In other words, there's a history. There's a history of who your father is and who his father is and so forth and so on. That's why she didn't know. That's why she said, well, what if my father goes back to 3 different lines of people? It's impossible. Because you have 2 people that so-called make a baby. So you go by your father and you go by your father's father. Now, if your father's father is half Edomite, half Gadite, well, is his father Edomite, or his father is a Gadite? Well, his father's a Gadite, his mother's an Edomite. Okay, good. That means he's a Gadite. What was his father's name? What was his father's? What tribe was he from? Or he's also from Gad. And that line goes back, no matter how many women you put in the mix, or how many times you say, well, he's half this and half that, and a quarter this and a quarter that, or a third of this, 33% this, 33% that. You gotta constantly go by your fathers, man.
Matthew chapter 1 verse 1, the book of the generations of Yahweh Shai.
And that's a Chronicles right there. Go ahead.
The son of David, the son of Abraham.
Now that's reincarnation right there. Now go to Chronicles.
This is Chronicles chapter 1 verse 1. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jirad, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham.
Now what are they mentioning? They're going into the genealogy from Adam, Adam's son, from Adam's son's son, from Adam's sons down to Methuselah, down to Enos, down to Noah. And then when you get down to Noah, it was split up. Noah had 3 sons. So now you got to go by the principal line. Which line did the Most High deal with out of his 3 sons? These people don't know what the hell, and that's basic information. That's why she made, and I bet you she got a damn degree too.
That's right.
But what if my line goes, what if my father goes back to 3 different, you don't know nothing about genealogies, right? Now the people that set up your learning institutions, they know about genealogies. That's the Rothschilds, man.
Yeah, they know.
What was it? No. What's it? No. Moses Amschel Bauer. All right. He was a rabbi. The word rabbi is a English Hebrew form of saying master, meaning he was a teacher. So if you're going to have the title of being a rabbi or a master, that means what? You got to know that law. Because when they opened up the Torah, they read out of the law. So he knew the stories of, well, first of all, he knew the genealogy.
Yep.
He knew the genealogy, number 1. And he knew the laws. So why would he know all this and teach his sons? He's not going to lie to his sons. He taught his sons to do what? Take over the whole earth and confuse the people. That's why that woman didn't understand the term genealogy. And that's why she was bringing her mother into the thing. I said, let's not deal with your mother. Let's deal with your father. Okay? Hold that, brother, because we're going to come back to that so we can get a better understanding of the word genealogy. Go ahead and read it.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 31. These are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations. And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. So basically that was the beginning of the separation of nations. Because why was there a chosen line? There was a chosen line because the Most High separated that particular line to bring his servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob out of, to give a chosen people his laws, statutes, and commandments so that they could be near unto him. He made them a holy people. You know, so there was a separation. So if the Lord loved everybody, why did he have to separate a particular people and hold them near and dear to himself and give them the law, statutes, and commandments of this Bible, but not give these law, statutes, and commandments to the other nations? Pretty much the other nations could do what they want, but they're still going to be judged, but they're not the holy people of the Lord. You know, so these people that said that the Lord loves everybody, he's dealing with all nations, they don't understand the scriptures. You know, they don't understand that the chosen line. Why did the Lord choose a particular people? Why just not have everybody to be equal? There was a reason why he did that, because he was setting up a particular people, a particular amount of spirits that were going to be called Israelites, because that was the people that was close to him. You know, just like he created many trees, he created many flowers, he created all the earth, but he has certain rivers, certain plots of land, certain animals, certain birds, certain flowers that are his favorite. And we're the Lord's favorite, the Israelites.
This is Sirach chapter 17, verse 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people.
Right, because that's why the Lord was upset when Israel wanted a ruler or a king over them like the other nations. Because the Most High is our king.
But now you can put it in here. But
what happened was that Israel wanted to be like the other nations. So the Lord put rulers over those nations. Why? Because they don't have a ruler over them, which is the Most High, the power of the Most High. Because the scriptures say that the nations, the gods of the nations are idols. So basically the Lord didn't want Israel to have a leader or a ruler, not so much as a leader, but like a king, somebody that would govern over them. Why? Because the Most High was the governor. Read that again.
For in the division of the nations of the whole earth.
Right, so when the Lord divided all these different nations, go ahead.
He set a ruler over every people.
See, so all those nations, they had kings over them. They had princes, you know, ones that took over the throne after their father died. Go ahead.
But Israel is the Lord's portion.
But Israel is the Lord's portion. Why? Because these are the people that he holds near and dear.
Right.
Even though Israel had become more wicked than Esau, the wicked, but they're still the people near unto the Lord. Because when